The championship may be decided, but the action will be no less fierce as Toyota GR Cup North America heads to the greatest racetrack of them all, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And that action, that desire to win here for this entire 34-car field will be amped up because winning is a chance to kiss the bricks and follow in the footsteps of legends. We've got special guests here today, and you've got DJ Clark and Kyle Heyer up here in the booth for what proves to be one of the best races of the year.
Every year I say that you don't need to even say why this place is special. It just is. You come in under the tunnel into the facility, and you feel the history here. And in some ways, this weekend is a little bittersweet. It's the end of the second year of Toyota GR Cup North America, but they're going out with a bang with those two special guests, DJ, of course, Keanu Reeves and Cody Jones from Dude Perfect. What a pairing and a duo that is.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. And yes, you did see that correctly. That is the Keanu Reeves, Neo from Speed, John Wick, whatever name you want to put on him. He has done it all. He is here carrying on some racing tradition that he has had. He is a former winner of the Long Beach Grand Prix Celebrity Race. He has also done a lot of his stunt driving in that John Wick series, so we're very excited to welcome him into this paddock. He's been a great addition, and it's kind of cool to see a little bit of star power joining us here.
It's really neat. That car that he won that Toyota Celebrity Race with, that's here in the paddock. That was back in 2009, so really cool to have that piece of racing history from Toyota here this weekend. And of course, Cody Jones. This is his first racing experience, one of the 5 members of Dude Perfect. He's the tall guy of the group, and he's got that on his fire suit here this weekend. The other dudes are here to support him, and we thank all the Dude Perfect fans for coming out and joining us here this weekend. Intense training leading up to this event at Eagles Canyon. That's the race team that he's partnered with here this weekend, and this is an opportunity to show people that with training and effort, it's possible to enter Toyota GR Cup and compete, and he's done a great job so far this weekend.
Yeah, done an absolutely fantastic job. Fans are out here today. You can see there, that's fans of Spike Kolbecker in the pink, Ackerman Toyota. We're happy to welcome them in, and you know, we've got these celebrities, but we've also got the normal faces in this field, including the man on the pole here, Lucas Weisenberg. Maybe a little bit of a surprise to see him on the pole, but nevertheless, it's a very welcome surprise.
Well, it's his first pole ever in the 2 years that he's been running Toyota GR Cup North America, and his family team, Lucas Racing, going up against the juggernauts of Toyota GR Cup with Copeland Motorsports, RVA Graphics Motorsports by Speed Syndicate, has Will Robusto up there, BSI Racing's Jordan Rick Segrini, Devin Anderson from Tech Sport Racing. It is really all of the names and faces that you're familiar with. And in addition to those drivers, we also have Andrew Gilliland here this weekend, Toyota Senior Vice President of Automotive Operations. This is his second year competing here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, running with the Braun livery and competing to tie in Toyota's and Braun's efforts to promote mobility for all.
Yeah, love to see that, any of those crossovers, especially when it brings in disability and disability awareness and making lives a little bit more easily accessible for those that are disabled. We are a huge proponent of that. Braun has obviously been a sponsor in the series before, and we are very, very happy to welcome them along. Drivers working their way out on the first parade lap right now as they get these tires up to temperature. A little bit chilly in the morning, probably going to get hot a little bit later, but definitely need to put some works into these Continental tires to make sure that they are ready to rip when we see the green flag. That's going to be waved by another one of the dudes that you mentioned, Dude Perfect's Cody Cotton, going to be waving the green flag for us.
Yeah, exciting day for all 5 members of Dude Perfect. And again, you mentioned getting things warmed up. It's really important here because the first turn of this 14-turn road course is a 90-degree right-hander, and it invites opportunity, and we've seen that go wrong. Remember last year, Tyler Gonzalez spinning across the road at 130 miles an hour, came out of it with just some scalded Continentals, but it's a scary corner when you're going down there 5 abreast.
Yeah, it really is, and it's going to be the primary overtaking opportunity on this circuit. That's where we're going to see most of the battles take place. We can occasionally see a move down into turn 7, and then the sneaky overtaking zone that I like to talk about down into turn 12. That's going to be another area to watch out for. There's Keanu working his way around the Berserker. That is his comic book that he is publishing, and so that is why that is on the side of his livery. He's also got a pretty cool helmet, Kyle.
Yeah, he's got the boar skull on his helmet. It's a nod to his new book, The Book of Elsewhere, which is available for sale now, by the way, where all books are sold. But a great looking livery, that red and black. It's easy to spot from a long ways back. And how much progress did he make in practice and qualifying yesterday? Gained 15 seconds from his first lap of practice.
Yeah, he really put in the effort. Really impressed me. I was very curious to see how Keanu was going to do, but He is only one of 34 drivers that we are ready to cover. The two that we're keeping our eyes on right now are Lucas Weisenberg and Weston Workman as they come out of turn 14 on this historic road course. Kobe Cotton has the green flag in his hand here at this point. They enter into the acceleration zone. There goes the green. We are racing at the racing capital of the world. It's a near perfect getaway there for Lucas Weisenberg. He's going to control it. That's a couple of the Copeland Motorsport cars going for a big move down to the outside. That's going to be 3-4 wide down the main straightaway. Spike Kohlbecker going for a move. Workman trying to sweep around the outside. Gresham Wagner tucked in 4 wide into that corner. Sometimes doesn't work. Little bit of contact there around the 24 and the 51 machine. That's going to be Axel Cabrera, but it looks like everybody's through relatively cleanly, albeit a couple of drivers going out onto the grass.
Mashore and Drury escaping to the grass there into turn 4. This is another pinch point here. The racing line is very tight to the right now. The filter point, 5 and 6, clattering over the curbs. You got to keep a tire touching the blue and white. Over the curbs, a couple of cars go sailing straight through as they make their way down Holman Boulevard.
Yeah, that looks like one of the machines going to may get a little bit of a cut course penalty on that. Lucas Weisenberg, though, continues to control the pace of this race. A little bit side by side, farther back in the field. Big moves made early on for Axel Cabrera. That is huge stuff gained for him. Devin Anderson, Spike Kohlbecker, those are two teammates duking it out.
Aiden Yoder took a couple events of a break, but he's right back in the middle of it now to the inside of Jade Evadizi. A little contact there, hip and shoulder through turn 10, DJ, as they try to get sorted out on this frantic opening lap.
Jackson Bell in between a tech sport sandwich there at this point, but we've got to keep our eyes on Evadizi and Yoder. That's the blue machine and the Mobile One machine as they go down into that sneaky overtaking opportunity. Yoder has that preferred line. Is he going to shove Evadizi out a little bit farther? And here comes the 18 that's trying to be able to get their way forward. That's
trouble!
Sagrini, contact!
The 22 of Anderson and Evadizi spins across the racetrack. Anderson right back into the path of traffic. He gets clobbered. Is that Clemens in the 76?
I think it is. Big contact there. Casey Mashore may also be involved in it. That is undoubtedly going to be a yellow flag displayed here in short order. Debris all over the track. Nothing yet as they still race, and that's going to be Mia Lovell trying to fight there down to the inside, trying to get that move done on the number 2 of Will Robusto. And Cody Jones, one of those that has been taken out in that melee.
He might be able to get back rolling, and he does. It doesn't look like there's a lot of damage to that car. In more trouble, turn 2 now. It's the 51 that's off course now. That's Axel Cabrera. He's tangling with, I think that's Max Hewitt in the 39. And they both get back going, but a little bit more tangling through the opening sector.
And full course yellow has been displayed. Full course yellow has been displayed. There it is. They're going to slow everybody down here at this point, and that is a good call. Also, note from race control, start of the race is under review, so that will be taken care of as well. We'll take a look at that, making sure nobody jumps out of line. Andrew Gilliland there, who we were just talking about, massive damage to the front left of that car.
Yeah, that's not what you want to see. That is a little less than ideal, and made it to the turn 1 runoff area, but this will be more than just a pit stop to fix that damage, I fear, but under control of the Toyota GR86 safety car now. For the first time in this 45-minute event, first of 2 races here this weekend as Gilliland comes to a smoky stop.
Yeah, it looks like some pretty hefty contact there. That maybe a toe link, something busted on that left front suspension. That tire not looking the way it is supposed to do. As we take a look back at the top 5, though, it is Weisenberg, Workman, Wagner, just as they started. Rick Sagrini. It does look like there that Keanu Reeves was able to get through all of that okay. That's going to put him in 24th position at the moment, but quite a few drivers were taken out as a result of that. Looks like Jade Avedizian was able to escape without a whole lot of damage. And you can see here, driving through that debris field, everybody hugging that inside curb, slowing down to a crawl, making sure you don't get a puncture on those Continental tires.
There was a number of cars involved in that accident, and I think BSI Racing had a couple of cars that were tangled in it, including Stephen Clemens and Matty Oust. Alfonso Diaz in the 25, I think, is not quite showing up as high on the board as we would expect. So just big coming together. It started with the 22 of Anderson and the 24 of Avedizi, and they just got tangled, DJ, in the grass. It's a little damp this morning here because of the morning dew and the cool temperatures. So just an unfortunate situation, but we'll reshuffle the deck here and get restarted as soon as we can. And how about Lucas Weisenberg and the start he had, holding off the strength of Copeland Motorsports behind him?
Yeah, I mean, that was very, very impressive to be able to do. Controlled that start incredibly well, got the jump there over Workman. See a big thumbs up there from some of the drivers inside the cars.
That's Clemens, I think.
Yeah, that is Clemens. So good to see. That was a pretty nasty lick that he took. You can see the damage there on the right front.
Yeah, and these cars, again, they've taken hits pretty well this season, which is great. It just goes to show the safety of these Toyota GR86s. And talk a little bit about these cars. They're very similar to the cars that you can get in the showroom. The engine is effectively stock. The transmission is a SATEV 6-speed sequential that you see in other racing machines. You've got some JRI suspension, you've got Alcon brakes, and a little bit of aero from TRD. But other than that, the rest of the body, the chassis, is all exactly as you'd get from factory, and it retains the dynamics of the car that it has on the road. It's known for being one of the best balanced cars that you can get in its price point, and boy, they're a lot of fun.
Yeah, about perfect 50-50 weight distribution in between it, so that means you get great rotation through the corners. You can really feel everything.
Just taking a look at Max Hewitt in that 39 on the very far left of the screen, the blue and black. The front splitter was kind of bouncing up and down. We saw him get into the grass at the exit of turn 2, and I think it might have kind of gotten up and torn up the underbelly of that GR86 a little bit, so he will probably have to address that. I'm not sure that race control will want a piece that big just dangling by shreds at the moment.
Yeah, you're certainly right about that. Also, the incident between cars 24 and 22, that is the big incident that we saw, and that specifically is Devin Anderson and Jade Avedisian. That is under review from race control.
Wow. And look at that wheel, and that's great because that means that it took force and it was absorbed impact. But I've never seen a wheel come off a GR86 looking like that. And that's the whole hub. You see, the braking system and everything is still in there, so it tore it off at the knuckle.
Yeah, it really did. Moving everything off to the inside here at this point, and you can still see all of that debris that litters turn 14. And there again, everybody coming down to the inside here. And thankfully, we've got some of the best marshals and track workers in the world here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So this will get taken care of lickety-split, rest assured. Spike Kohlbecker obviously running a special livery. You saw some of his fans in the pink earlier this year. That is for cancer awareness. Obviously, we are in October here at this point. So that is what that is for. Saw a car dive down into pit lane here, Kyle. I wonder if that's who you were taking a look at earlier.
It was Max Hewitt, so they'll go to work on the front of that car and it probably just remove that piece. I don't know that you could reattach it. It's pretty fundamental to the chassis of the car, the way that it's installed here, so it's probably more of a removal than it is anything else. So under yellow here, with 37 minutes and 45 seconds to go in a 45-minute race here for Toyota GR Cup North America. Just an update, Keanu Reeves did make it through that melee, by the way, so don't stop the bus. P23 in that number 92 car, and then the 29, we saw Cody Jones. He's now 26th. He also made it through that melee.
He was stopped at one point, but I think there was no damage on that car. I think he was just kind of may have had a spin incidentally as a result of that. But there's Keanu. Again, really welcome addition to this paddock. We've been so blessed to have him here. He has been so great. He has been so wonderful to be able to be available to everybody in the paddock. He's been taking pictures with everybody. It's really kind of a wonderful meeting.
You know, I do think he'd like to keep the stunt driving in the movies, and I'm sure he had quite the perspective of that starting where he did at the tail of the field, but he's been great, and it's awesome to have him in the paddock and Cody Jones and Dude Perfect out here. It's been a really fun week on social media, seeing them hanging out with the race fans here, seeing fans interacting with people from the community. And you know, it was great. We saw pictures of Keanu with our current race leader, Lucas Weisenberg. Lucas showing him the tips and tricks of Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So, you know, it's all a community, right? All these drivers go to all 7 rounds together, and you have to be friends with some of them, right? Because you've got to share space on the racetrack.
Well, it's a testament to what the community has been in this series, really and truly. It has blossomed into this, yes, competitive, don't get me wrong. I mean, you know, 7 times out of the year, these drivers are going to be bringing their best to the track and putting it all on the line. They all want to win, but by the same token, there's an incredible sense of camaraderie that is developed among this paddock. It's not uncommon if you walk through here on any given Friday, Saturday, to see drivers from different teams and mechanics and engineers throwing a football with one another, laughing and joking, having a great time. I know I've almost been pegged in the head a couple of times by a football. You know who you are that threw it at me. But it's a real wonderful sense of family in this GR Cup paddock.
Yeah, I talked to Lucas about that on SRO Pit Pass a couple of weeks ago, about in the heat of the moment when you're battling, especially especially against cars that aren't your teammates, drivers that aren't necessarily in your stable. And there has to be a mutual respect. You're driving at over 135 miles an hour into the braking zones in these places. So yeah, it's fierce. You got your elbows out. You're going to jab each other with ribs now and then. But at the end of the day, you've got to come home with your cars in one piece. Everybody's too invested to be tearing up stuff here, at least at the pointy end of the field. So it is really great. There's Casey Mashore in the number 50, though. That car getting loaded up on the rollback. And unique fact about this, Casey Mashore's got an auto body shop. This is one of the few cars in the field that actually has paint on it. Most of the cars are wrapped with vinyl, but because he owns a body shop, this is painted yellow, which I think is a pretty interesting tidbit.
Yeah, and why we're seeing more and more teams and drivers go over to that vinyl application is, well, speed, time, money, weight. That's basically why. That's those four combinations of things. And so it's kind of cool that Casey's carrying on the old tradition of painting everything.
Yeah, it'd be really neat if they painted the numbers on too, real old school.
Yeah.
But there, unfortunately, is the 76. Looking a little secondhand, admittedly, there on the tow truck. But it'll head back to the paddock, and the team will go to work and try to get it repaired for tomorrow's race 2. Gresham Wagner in the number 5 already has clinched the championship, 247 points on the year. It has been an unbelievable season for Gresham. If you remember last year, came in on the back foot a little in comparison to Tyler Gonzalez, had Spike Kohlbecker that was also sort of in the mix, but a crash at Sebring in 2023 sort of took him out of that conversation. But it's been the year of Copeland Motorsports and Gresham Wagner. But the driver just ahead of him, Weston Workman, second place 8 times, and he still has yet to win.
And he is so eager to get that first win. He is absolutely ready to get it. He's chomping at the bit here, and really you can get that sense from him that he is just ready to ascend to that top step of the podium. Going to be interesting to see what next year will bring for a lot of these drivers. Weston in particular, I think if he is to stay in the series, he has got to be considered a title favorite. There, as we take a look at Stephen Clemens' car getting towed away back into the infield area, taking a look from above here at this point at the rest of the field. Gotta say here, I'm pretty impressed thus far with Axel Cabrera. This is one of the newer drivers that has been brought in by Copeland Motorsports, kind of trialing him out here, giving him a little bit of a shot. And Axel's putting on some good moves here early on.
We did see him get a little tangled with the 39 at turn 2, but he's given it his all. That 51 car has seen a couple different drivers in it this season, and all of them have really been a factor every time they climb behind the wheel of that car. While we are still behind the safety car, I'll update you on the kind of the tail half of the top 10. We mentioned Aiden Yoder making his return to Precision Racing LA this week. How about Jackson Bell in that number 99, one of the other Copeland Motorsports drivers? He's had flashes of success. He's done really well this season, DJ. What's your thoughts on Jackson's second season?
I think it's been a coming out party for Jackson. I think he's done an incredible job. He is a mainstay on the podium. He has gotten a pole here and there. He is always up and in it. And you know, I had a chance to talk to him after Road America, and I told him that I think that was one of the best races he was a part of. He missed out on a victory very, very slightly, frankly, because of one mistake coming down into turn 5 under intermediate and changeable conditions. But the poise and the maturity he showed during the course of that run was really remarkable. Well, what impressed me most about it, Kyle, is the fact that I talked to him and I said, that was one of the best drives I've ever seen you make. And he kind of looked at me and said, yeah, but I didn't win it. And it's that killer instinct that is going to get that young Californian far.
Yeah, he did win back at COTA, race number 2, if you recall, and that was the race that Gresham Wagner had a little drama. We mentioned Gresham's spectacular season. Here's a little recap for you. Sonoma, race 1, win. Sonoma, race 2, win. Sebring, races 1 and 2, win and win. COTA, race 1, a win. How about VIR, race 2, win. Road America, race 2, win. Barber, race 1, win. I mean, he has just dominated this season. He hasn't left a lot of opportunity for others to get up on the top step of the podium. Spike Kohlbecker is one of the only other drivers other than Jackson Bell to break through and beat the 5 this year.
Yeah, it's been nothing short of remarkable for Gresham Wagner, and I think his win total is going to be something that stands in this Toyota GR Cup Series for years and years to come. Taking a look here as drivers work their way through the back half of the circuit through 8, 9, and 10. Still seeing a little bit of weaving, not sure. The lights do appear to still be on that Toyota GR safety car, GR86 safety car. So I think we've got at least one more lap under yellow flag conditions, but I've got to imagine after that, Kyle, I think we'll be ready to come back here clean and green.
Well, this race already is a sprint, but you shorten it by about 15 minutes behind the safety car. It's going to amp up the energy. Track looks pretty clear here. And we'll see if that safety car makes a dive for pit lane at turn 13. No, it's going to take 13 on the road, so we'll go around as you suggested another time. But I think next time by is our go time, and it's going to be under 30 minutes. Amps up the intensity, amps up the drivers. They're all going to get those butterflies that they've had on grid again. And Mia Loveland at 57, sitting P4, she's got a chance to make her way on.
And how great would that be for Mia? Another one of those Motorsports drivers. For her, I think to be able to get a podium here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway would be a huge statement of intent. She's got a couple of cars that they have put together. She's going to be running in a few different series next year. And looks like here, car number 24, that is Jade Avedizian, has been displayed the black flag, which means come down into pit lane, her race is done.
Yeah, and that's a result of that incident, I would imagine. And, you know, this is not what she wanted to end race 1, certainly, and I'm curious as how this will affect race 2 as well. I don't think we've seen this penalty this season, so she's going to roll into the pit box and come to a stop in the Nitro Motorsports number 24. So on the opening lap, coming back to the Yard of Bricks, we had a little bit of a kerfuffle at turn 14, and it had a couple of cars involved, and the cleanup has taken us a few minutes now, but we've been behind the safety car since then. And with 29 minutes to go, Lucas Weisenberg, Weston Workman, Gresham Wagner, Mia Lovell, Will Robusto make up the top 5. Continental tires being weaved left and right to clear all the clag off them and get them ready to return to race speeds here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Now, just a point of order for our viewers here at this point. It is important to know that the restart zone is different than the start zone. Lights are out on the safety car, so we will be going back to green. That means Lucas Weisenberg is able to start accelerating out of turn 14. That is the case, but you are not allowed to make a pass. You are not allowed to poke out a line until you pass that start-finish line.
Right, and I'm curious if he's going to launch early or if he'll try to back everyone up. I don't know if I want to give everyone a big run, an early launch, because that'll allow them to run you back down in the straightaway. Bump drafting, locking bumpers like you see in stock car racing, that's not allowed here in Toyota GR Cup. You can give a shot, but you can't lock bumpers and push. So that's something that Lucas Weisenberg should consider here. And again, an update for the restart. You'll see on the timing and scoring, Keanu Reeves, 23rd, Cody Jones, 25th, but out front, we're about to see the restart.
All right, here we go. Lucas Weisenberg getting ready to get on the loud pedal, going to back up the field ever so slightly, and now he is going. Here we get back to it, waiting for that official green flag to fly here from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Green is in the air. We are back to racing action. Weisenberg sending a little bit of a fade down to the inside. He knows exactly where that attack is coming. Spike Kohlbecker already poking out of line to make a move on Jordan Ricks-Sagrini. Behind them, there's a couple more drivers. I think that's Jackson Bell. Here comes Weston Workman around the outside. They're going to be side by side for the lead.
Yeah, Workman's got the overlap here on the inside of turn 2, a little hip and shoulder. Here comes Wagner up the inside of his teammate. They're side by side for second now. Mia Lovell's got to pick which lane she wants to go into turn 4.
As there's more side by side farther back in the field, that's going to be Rumberg and Yoder. It looks like Weisenberg's been able to avoid that. Workman's been shuffled back down to second. Lovell holds on to 4th, but it's Gresham Wagner now in P2 trying to make the attack on his old sparring partner. It's VIR all over again from last year. Weisenberg and Wagner.
Weisenberg ran him down last year, but this might be harder to beat. On the brakes into turn 7 at the end of Holman Boulevard. Door to door for the race lead, mirror to mirror. Wagner's going to pull through into turn 8. He's not quite clear though. Weisenberg clinging to it. He's still there, just trying to keep his hopes alive at the front.
He's trying to do everything he can, but he is going to have to slot back into line there. And look at that move from Will Robusto. He has been able to move his way up forward. That's Robusto moving up in the order. Good moves for him. He's in 4th place now, being able to get by Mia Lovell. Big move down to the inside on Weston Workman. Is that going to play out? Looks like there's no contact in between the two, and Workman's going to have the preferred line. Mia Lovell thought about going to the outside, and now hello there for Jordan Ricks-Sagrini. Oh, that's Robusto off into the grass.
Yeah, puts him in the dirt. He's going to have dirt on his tires in a critical spot on the racetrack now. Lovell goes around the outside. The 31 of Rumberg. Spike Kohlbecker dropping like a stone in the field here on the front straightaway.
Yeah, Robusto just not looking like he has got it to go.
Down the front straightaway here, side by side, as the 88 of Drury picks up a spot. Aiden Yoder in the 44. Rumberg sweeps left. Lovell sweeps left. Braking zone into turn. Contact. Lovell gets put in the fence.
Oh, Lovell out into the fence. She is going to lose lots of positions here. We do have a spat of penalties getting ready to come in for a jump start, but we've got to keep our eyes here. That's Mike Kohlbecker. A little bit of a shove in the back there from Jackson Bell. Those penalties being levied are against the 21, 41, and 55. That's Ford Cook, Jensen Sofronis, and also Axel Cabrera. They have been given penalties, drive-throughs for jump start.
Jackson Bell has Robusto to his inside now. They're going to sweep out to the left to Holman Boulevard. This is just scrapping. It's the chess match at 120 miles an hour. Into the braking zone now. Kohlbecker to the inside of Rumberg, and Robusto again on the brakes. He has been phenomenal on them so far. Bounces over the curbs, but he can't make up any more spots that way. 3 abreast.
Oh, Kohlbecker there in the middle. The number 2 of Will Robusto getting shoved around like a mosh pit as the number 31 of Luke Rumberg tries to be able to get a move there. Henry Drury, Jackson Bell on the 88 and the 99 going to be side by side as they exit out of turn 11.
Christmas card lists getting shorter in this pack, I'll tell you that. The aggression is on. Henry Drury now to the inside. Will Yoder peek out to the driver's right? No, he has got some patience. The 88 does not. He'll slip between the 31 of Rumberg and the 88 of Drury. Drury's in the dirt now.
Drury's in the dirt. Can Aiden Yoder capitalize on that? No, but Jackson Bell can. He's going to be able to carry that momentum around. Yoder tries to look for a position here, and coming up behind them, that's Alex Garcia. A little bit of that rear fender starting to flail in the pit right now. We've seen that a couple of times over the course of the year. We get to catch our breath for a minute as they get onto the main straightaway, but this is going to get feisty once again.
That damage for Garcia shouldn't be a huge deal, but for the lead, this is a huge deal. Here comes Lucas Weisenberg back on Gresham Wagner. These two have scrapped time and time again. Copeland Motorsports in the 5, Lucas Racing in the 46. Remember back to VIR 2023, it was these two that battled down the hill for the last time, and it was the 46 that stole it.
The 46 stole it away from Wagner, and he'd love to steal another one here again at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Good run through 5 and 6. They've also got to watch out for Weston Workman. He's holding right there in the rear view mirror of both of them. Jordan Rick-Sagrini kind of off in an island unto himself. It's Jackson Bell in the back taking a little bit of a poke out on Luke Rumberg. Behind him, Henry Drury thought about it as well. Everybody in single file order here for the moment.
Cody Jones, by the way, up a few spots from the restart, 25th to 20th. That's a great climb for Cody. And he's gotten by Keanu Reeves in the number 92. That's something nobody else can say at the moment after that restart.
Yeah, very much so. Reeves also up 2 positions there. He runs in 21st. Jackson Bell now looking on the back of Luke Rumberg. Is he going to take that sneak attack down into turn 12? No, he thought about it, though. He looked out to the inside, decided not to go for it, waiting for the opportune moment. Bell now trying to go around the outside of 13. Drury says, I'll take that door if it's open. Thank you very much.
I was just about to say how patient everyone was being, and the 88 made that move. They'll tuck back in line. This is a tricky corner here. These cars don't build the downforce until they're going pretty quickly. They've got a little front arrow and a little rear arrow, but they don't stick to the road like a GT3 car. So you're on the power, 230 horsepower from that flat Boxer 4, but you've got enough power that it'll wash you out to the edge of the road, and you might need to lift, especially if the track is a little dirty.
Moves in the back here at this point.
Oh, spin! The 31. It's not the 31 that got turned around.
Yes, that's Luke Rumberg for RVA Graphics by Speed Syndicate. Unfortunate run there for him. He's going to get things pointed the right way. We'll see if we can get a view of exactly what happened to the number 31.
I think he got tagged by the 99, if I recall, so we'll have to see another shot of that. To the inside here, there's a little bit of sparring here between the 75 and the 39. Remember, Hewitt hit pit lane to fix that front splitter. It looks like they've done that. Here's a look at it. DJ, what do you see?
All right, they're going to come down into the corner. I think that was a little contact there with Jackson Bell. That did not exactly look great there, and it was the two of them that were fighting it out. So unfortunate run-ins there for him, and we will have to see. Meanwhile, up front of the field, that is Gresham Wagner continuing to lead, but Lucas Weisenberg not letting that number 5 Copeland Motorsports machine out of his eye line.
How could you if you're Lucas Weisenberg? 1 win in your career. You're finishing off your 2nd season. He intends to do another full season of this championship. Championship, and he's had some great finishes and a few podiums this season, but he has yet to get a victory, and Keanu Reeves goes for a slide.
Oh, doesn't look like there's any contact there necessarily. That smoke just from a little bit of brakes. Keanu's going to get the car turned back around, and the number 92 will keep going. That looks like that's coming out of turns 8 and 9 and into 10. Let's take a look here. That's Reeves right in the middle of your screen in the 92. Kyle, what do you see?
He's going to swing back to the left. It just gets away from him. You see his hands moving really quickly to try to get ahead of it, but there's so much weight transfer happening in that section, and if the rear starts to step out on you, if you don't grab it quick enough, it'll step out and spin you around. So that's just the classic front engine rear drive thing there, but Keanu gets back rolled, and he'll get back in the race.
All of those drivers, by the way, who were served penalties for a jump start, they have served their penalties at this point. Gresham Wagner holding off Lucas Weisenberg. Weisenberg was very close through that first sector, through 2, 3, 4, and 5. Looks like he lost a hair coming onto Holman Way. He's going to fade to the inside a little bit, see if he can get Wagner to bite. But getting Wagner to bite, well, that's something different entirely.
Well, Weston Workman is just waiting for these two to get side by side, because if they do, he will not wait. Remember that the championship is concluded. Gresham Wagner's already won. So what's holding Lucas back from getting the elbows out? What's holding Workman back? They're teammates, yeah, but you already won the championship. Go win yourself a race.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that, but we do have 2 penalties that have been issued down, as it looks like they are a 10-second post-race penalty for the 31. That's Luke Rumberg. That was previous contact with Jackson Bell, and now the 99 of Jackson Bell has been issued a drive-through penalty. That was for the incident that we just saw the replay of. So those two definitely taking a seat on the naughty step.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate for Jackson Bell. He was having a pretty good race. I don't think the qualifying effort yesterday was something that he was really stoked about, considering how well he's done this season, but this will hurt the result here. Of course, they do get to qualify all over again on Sunday, so they can at least salvage something from the weekend.
And you can.
Gosh, the braking zones into turn 1. These cars only weigh about 2,800 pounds. They've got that Continental slick, so they stop on a dime. So when you go to the brake pedal, you pound that thing to the floor. I mean, they're braking at the 100-meter mark. It's unbelievable, going from 130 down to about 65.
Yeah, it's really pretty remarkable to take a look at a little bit. There's Max Hewitt in that splitter that you talked about next to Jason Kose. I'm a little bit surprised that that number 39 of Hewitt has not been called into pit lane.
Yeah, I mean, they might leave it. It's just going to be distracting, if nothing else. You're going to feel that vibration. You're going to hear that vibration. And you know, as long as you know what's going on, it's not going to concern you all that much. But I thought that they had addressed that, but maybe whatever they did didn't hold.
Yeah, clearly didn't. I don't see any tape or anything like that. Or you can actually hear that as it goes by. You can hear that kind of flutter of...
It's a testament to how strong that part is, that it hasn't already ripped off. But again, I think the curbing will assist with that probably throughout the rest of this race. But this is, again, from the off-track excursion he had, tangling with the 51 of Cabrera, and taking that excursion through the grass. And it's a little soft here this morning, and using it like a pretty effective shovel on Roger Penske's nicely maintained grass here.
Oh, he'll come for you for that. You got to be careful about that. Checking back in on the battle for the lead here. Gresham Wagner continues to lead. Lucas Weisenberg about where he was, but Weston Workman's been able to close this up a little bit more. It's a closer of a battle. Only 0.6 of a second separating these top 3. Now, we've seen Weisenberg be able to catch up here down this main straightaway really nice in the draft. Workman's going to poke his nose to the inside. Doesn't look like Weisenberg wants to take that move quite yet, and I've got to think that is in large in part, Kyle, because of the proximity of Weston Workman.
Yeah, he's shown great patience, and I think, and just in his career in general, he's a very calculated driver. He doesn't take a lot of risks, and I think he knows that if he takes a stab at Gresham Wagner, Workman's going to be right there to steal the spot. He has to wait for an opportunity. There's 17 minutes to go, so there's really no need to push it. As long as he can stay in touch with Gresham Wagner, he doesn't have to get desperate yet.
Yeah, and desperation is the ultimate killer for a driver. You do not want to be desperate. You want to drive calm, cool, and collected with all of your wits about you. That's the way you want to go. Battle a little farther back down in the field. This is 4th place. Jordan Rick-Segrini, we said he was in an island unto himself. Well, that island is now co-inhabited by Spike Kohlbecker and Will Robusto.
Yeah, Kohlbecker's got a little motivation here to make up some spots. He's only 5 points back from Weston Workman in the Drivers' Championship, so I know he'd like to beat that 13 and finish second on the year. So he's got some work to do to get there, and I'm not sure it'll all happen in this race based on the pace that we've seen so far. But tomorrow's a new day, and there's still plenty of time left in this one. And we've seen how aggressive Robusto is, so he might be the pressure that pops the cork here shortly.
Yeah, certainly might be. They've also got to watch out as well. Henry Drury, who we've talked about many, many times over the course of this year, in that number 88, the young Brit, who had a start of career in figure skating and then linked up with PT Autosport, a company that specializes in drivers that maybe get their start a little bit later in life, maybe don't come from it. But here comes Kohlbecker coming to the outside there. Oh, it looks like that is Rick Segrini very slow down the front straightaway. Indeed, I think Robusto can even get a run on him.
Yeah, Robusto he read that well. He's going to go all the way driver's left and sneak up alongside Rick Segrini here, and he'll have a shot at Kohlbecker, who's got that side skirt dragging as well. So there's been a little contact with the 55 at some point, but Robusto didn't aggressively dive to the inside. He was patient, he went to the left and realized that was the read on the road he needed to do to gain a spot on one of these two cars.
Yeah, it's one of those things that Will Robusto just continues to impress again and again and again. No matter what kind of machinery he gets in, he always looks like he is in absolute control of that car.
Just a moment ago, you mentioned Henry Drury. He's approaching this three-car battle. He has the fastest lap of the race. So that 88 is on the move right now with 15 minutes to go, and he's got three drivers that are sparring ahead that might open the door for opportunity.
Yeah, so we'll have to keep our eyes on that. If they continue to fight, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that Henry Drury could close back in and make this a four-car battle. Indeed, I'd say we're pretty close to it being a four-car battle right now, especially with Drury continuing to put in lap times that are faster than this cadre around him. So very, very good times there for that number 88 machine.
Robusto lights this fuse on the 55. He's been aggressive on the binders here, and now that he's right behind him, use that slipstream on the front straightaway. These cars don't draft all that well in comparison to some other one-make championships. These cars are very slippery. Their coefficient of drag, even with the rear wing that they've added, is very low. So they don't suck up on the straightaway like some other cars. But there is a little of an effect here on this long front stretch at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It's just not going to overcome any mistakes like we saw Robusto make in 14.
No, certainly not at the front of the field, but Weisenberg just continues to be tantalizingly close. But here comes a move from Rick Segrini, and that's from Henry Drury to the outside of Rick Segrini, reading that perfectly, Kyle. You see that sequence of corners, you think it's one way, but now here comes Rick Segrini fighting back on Henry Drury. Drury's going to kind of show him the long way around turn 4. That was poetry from Henry Drury.
It was. There was a lot of dirt on the racetrack over there. There was brown dust as they went through turn 2. So that off-track excursions everyone's been doing, dirtying that up, making it trickier to maintain that outside line. I don't think it's a bad place to be at turn 4. If you can keep the overlap there and be on the left through that left-right chicane, sometimes that's advantageous because you don't have to take that hop, skip, and a jump over that curve.
Exactly. You really don't have to do that, and that can come out and be a big moment for you. But Henry Drury able to make that move, and I think it's only a matter of time here before he sets his eyes on Will Robusto or Spike Kohlbecker and tries to close in on them. Indeed, he's already pretty close enough to be able to get a bead on that RVA Graphics by Speed Syndicate number 2. Yeah, I mean, he's later on the binders there coming into turn 12. He has got the run here. I don't think a top 5 is out of the question here for Henry Drury.
Especially if he keeps making the moves that he's making. Quick update on Cody Jones. He and Aiden Kirk went back and forth a few times. Jones is settled in 19th, and despite the spin, Reeves still hangs on to 22nd place at the moment as the leaders spill back out onto the front straightaway and cross the yard of bricks. It's less than 0.2 of a second between Wagner and Weisenberg. There's Mr. Keanu Reeves, and things are going well. There's not a scratch on that car.
No, and he's got a little bit of a battle on his hands with Ramon Lano right now. That's the car in front of him, that blue and white machine. Can't really get in the neck there. And here comes Henry Drury. We said it was only a matter of time, and that time is nigh. If you are Henry Drury, he's in 6th. He's fighting for P5 right now. Going to try to take a look to the inside there of turn 4. Robusto defended that very, very well. Drury's going to have to fall back into line, but I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. He tries to make a move here into turn 7.
A little bobble over the curbing here. He'll use this Holman Boulevard straightaway to try to make a run into turn 7, one of the other hard braking points on this racetrack. Weisenberg's offline here, defending from the 13, offending on the 5, but not close enough to make a move on Wagner. And now it feels like he's more in his mirrors than he is in the windshield at the moment, DJ.
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly the position that Gresham Wagner wants Lucas Weisenberg to be put in when he has got to have chameleon eyes, one looking ahead and one behind. And it looks like that little bit of a battle with Weston Workman has indeed cost Lucas Weisenberg, call it about a car length here as they dive down into turn 12.
We saw him previously not really defending second spot because Workman was willing to play the game a little to stay in touch with Gresham Wagner. But now that nothing has really happened up here for some time, maybe Workman's feeling slightly impatient. With 11 minutes to go, it's really tricky to formulate passes here, so you've got to start moving now. And for Workman, it's a lot easier to pass for the lead from second than it is from third.
Yeah, it's going to be a little tricky to try to get a 2-for-1 around this place, especially with how difficult these overtaking zones are. Here comes Workman. This is becoming his thing a little bit, just a fade down to the right-hand side, driver's right of turn 1, seeing if he can get Weisenberg to maybe bite a little bit on a defensive line, even if it's just a matter of looking in the rearview mirror as he jumps onto the binders. Sometimes that can be enough.
Into turn 4, Wagner has been the leader of this race since the opening moments. After slipping past Lucas Weisenberg on the outside at turn 1. Has Lucas been saving anything? Brakes especially. You use them a lot here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Turns 1, 7, and 12. Great overtaking opportunities. If you change your braking point by 3 feet, you might miss it by 50. So you have to be careful when you're trying to outbrake the leader or someone around you. So Weisenberg, if he's got brakes left to make an overtake, he's got to be calculated and know that Wagner's not going to try to out-deep him when he does that.
Yeah, you've got to be absolutely perfectly precise. There is no way you can make those mistakes. Here comes Keanu Reeves making a move there. That's Jackson Bell. Bell's a lap down. Oh, he's been able to get by Roman Lano there. And now Bell's going to be able to get the move on him, but that will move Keanu back up into 21st position.
Yeah, Keanu's doing a great job. And again, this is, he's not a race car driver. He certainly has a lot of stunt driving experience, and he's learned so much this weekend. And watching him carve his way through this field, keep all the fenders on it, keep it pointed the right direction. It's been fun here this weekend, and making it a memory, I think, especially with that 2009 Toyota Celebrity race car here in the paddock to remind him of his journey here with Toyota in racing.
Yeah, it's pretty special there as Weisenberg may have a little bit of a bead here on Wagner. This is the best run I've seen Lucas have in a long time.
Here we go.
Indeed, he's going to fade to the inside. Does he keep it in, go for the binders? He's going to think about it, a little half-hearted. He's going to have to go the long way around turn 2. You can do that. It's more momentum. Weisenberg carries the momentum well. That's the preferred line going into turn 3. Weston Workman says, I want some of that as well. Wagner runs wide to try to carry the momentum around 4, but I think this is going to be...
he won't give. They're going to go side by side through 5, balancing over the curbs. Weisenberg to the lead, but Wagner trying to keep the overlap alive. He's going to get right in behind the 46 down Holman Boulevard here, and Workman wants by 2. He would like to get a win after being denied so many times to his teammate and to Spike Kohlbecker. It's a battle, a 3-way one at the front.
Weisenberg defensive line. Wagner followed him in. Workman tried to take the traditional line to carry some more speed, but it's now Lucas Weisenberg back up to the point. Almost a shot there in the rear from Workman to Gresham Wagner, but that didn't play out. They're going to slide their way out of turn 10 right now, and now through turn 11. Call it a 2-car length gap for Weisenberg over Gresham Wagner.
I'm so impressed with that pass. When they went to the braking zone, it looked like Wagner kind of let off the brakes just a moment just to roll a little deeper, but he actually out-deeped himself and allowed the 46 to pull alongside, and then it was that clever slip through turn 4 that gave the 46 the advantage. And I'm surprised Workman didn't muscle the 5 a little more. I know they're teammates, but this is championship concluded. This is just battling for the race win. So I won't be surprised to see the elbows get a little jabby here in the final 7 or 8 minutes.
Yeah, I'm not going to be surprised by that at all. And I think we're going to see an absolutely monumental scrap for the lead of this race. This is going to get really, really fun. Weisenberg taking a half-hearted defensive line going down into turn 1. Meanwhile, behind, here comes Henry Drury continuing to apply pressure to the back of the number 2 of Will Robusto. Looks like now Robusto's got the line that he wants, and he's going to be able to pull away a little bit from Drury.
Yeah, this 3-car battle has continued to sort of remain as embers for some time, but I think he'll fire back up here before the end of this race. We've seen how aggressive Robusto is. He's had to cool down his Continentals after some aggressive moves earlier in the race, but Henry Drury still the fastest car on the racetrack. At least he has the best lap recorded, and was a little quicker, about a half a second quicker than both Robusto and Kohlbecker last time around. Here's Lovell and Hewitt, and the 75 of Koyama. This is a driver that's new to the field here this weekend, Miki Koyama, racing in the Hattori Motorsports car, and she's doing a great job here this weekend. She wasn't feeling well earlier and had to sit out, I think, of qualifying, but she's rebounded nicely, and the race pace is great.
Yeah, the race pace is great, and good to see her back and doing this. That's a car that's kind of been cycled through a little bit this year. There's been quite a few Japanese drivers that have come in to try out that car. Yuki Sano was one that comes to mind. Great performance at Road America. So we love seeing that coming in from Toyota, that they are able to be a part of.
Max Hewitt's car looks like Pac-Man chomping at the bit here to get to the inside of the 57, and there he goes to the inside of me a level. And I think the drag from that front splitter is going to hurt him here as they accelerate past 100 miles an hour, clicking through the SAT F6 speed sequential. And Lovell will at least hold on to this 13th spot for the time being.
Yes, they will. Here they go. We're going to check back in. Henry Drury trying to do a little bit of NASCAR action to get some side draft there coming down the main straightaway on Will Robusto. He's got a nose ahead here at this point, where Robusto able to gain back up under the brake zone, trying to see what they can do. Fed out a little bit. Almost contact there as they come through turn 2. Drury's going to have to wait another day, but with only 5.5 minutes left to go in this race, those days are limited.
I haven't seen the side draft put into play here in Toyota GR Cup. I don't know that it doesn't work. I mean, physics are physics, right? But that was kind of cool. Bouncing over the curbs, though, they're going to stay in the order that they were, much to the displeasure of the 88 of Henry Drury. And we're running out of time. 5 minutes to go to shuffle the deck the way the drivers want it. The 88 weaving, wobbling, and side by side into the braking zone, folding in the mirrors into turn 7.
That's your favorite thing,
and
Kyle.
Sliding to the edge of the course, and Rick Segurini's now on the attack.
Yeah, Rick Segrini going to try to look down, going for the crossover potentially into turn 9. Whoa, big wiggle there from Drury. That's going to be an open invitation for Jordan Rick Segrini and Aiden Yoder. They're going to swallow him up here at this point. Henry Drury on the back foot. Here comes Rick Segrini. Is Yoder going to take that poke to the inside? Rick Segrini is going to be forced up behind Yoder a little bit later on the binders. Can't get it done. He's going to get the move on Rick Segrini, but Rick Segrini is going to have the preferred line going down into turn 13. Woo! That was a lot of action for not a lot of positions changing.
Yeah, they came out exactly the way they went into it, but it was fun to watch for a moment. Here comes Yoder on the outside of 14. This has been his play so far today, to ramp the outside, carry a little more speed, prevent himself from kind of shredding the Continentals against the road there. And for the lead, here comes Wagner back to the inside of Weisenberg. Game on.
I wondered how long that was going to take. He looks for the crossover here, does Lucas Weisenberg, tries to get to that outside, can't carry quite enough momentum. That's going to be Gresham Wagner's position for the moment. Little bit of how you doing there from Lucas Weisenberg as they go down into turn 4, and all of this is now allowed for Weston Workman to close right back in.
I'm so impressed with Weisenberg there, because anytime you go into turn 4 right on the heels of somebody, it's like a siren song when that door opens to the inside. You want to drive down there and steal that spot away easily, but you know that it's going to hurt you on this backstretch, and you have a better chance at turn 7. That's what he's waiting for. He's going to go to the right. If he holds the overlap at the exit here, he might get this spot back, but Wagner denies him.
Wagner very heads-up defensive driving. 3.5 minutes left to go with lap times at about 140. I think roughly that's going to break down to 2 and go at the line.
I think so. And Weisenberg a little on the back foot now, leaving turn 7. But it's all going to come down. I think turn 1 for the next 2 times is going to be where we're going to see some action here. And what factor does Weston Workman play into this? How long will he be content to sit behind these 2 sparring leaders?
Well, and how well has he saved his tires? He has not been that aggressive over the last half of this race, and I wonder if that means he's got a little bit more life left in that Continental rubber.
Weisenberg got a great run through 13 and 14. Workman not so much. It's 2 car lengths between the race leaders at the moment, up onto the front straightaway, past the yard of bricks. To win at Indy is one of the biggest things you can do in a racing career. I don't care if you're racing each other to the parking lot here. It is special, and Weisenberg would love to steal one from Wagner after Wagner dominated the season. Here comes Lucas to the outside.
He's going to try to take that look again. Oh, and he's got the crossover here at this point. Is he going to be able to do it? Wagner's going to have the preferred line for turn 3 as they come down into the run. It's going to be a long way around for Lucas Weisenberg, but he's going to hold it out. Kyle, I don't think they're going to lift before turn 5.
No, they're not lifting. You can't race to it. You can't race through it. Here they go, side by side through 5 and 6. And here comes Weston Workman. It's a three-way battle at the top step in Toyota GR Cup North America, and they're door to door down the back straightaway. Who wants it more? Wagner has tasted victory. The two behind him this season have not.
Oh, Lucas Weisenberg going to lose out there a little bit as Weston Workman now tries to push his way ahead, and that's going to be a side-by-side battle between the number 13 and the 46. Oh, a little bit of a hip check there to Lucas Weisenberg, and he's going to be shuffled back down to 4.
I think you have to let him go. You have to go. If you battle for second place, you're going to give up the lead to Wagner. You're not going to have another shot here. So if Weisenberg battles Workman too much, it's going to be over. He has to let Workman take a shot, but he's not going to do it. He's going to go down the inside at 12. It's a big late lunge for Weisenberg, but he steals it back. But is it too little, too late to go run down Wagner?
That was a very impressive late lunge there from Lucas Weisenberg, who now sits in second position. Gresham Wagner up at the front of the field. That gap expanding from whence we saw it previously. It's now going to be coming to the white flag. White flag in the air. 1 lap to go from Indy.
2.4 miles, and it's over half a second. I think that little battle they had was a costly one. It might not be enough time. There's still fights going on in the rear view. Spike Kohlbecker, Robusto, Drury, Yoder, they're all still locked together in the battles for the top 10 positions here. There they are. Kohlbecker in that Ackerman Toyota machine. Then the 2, the RVA graphics car. They've still got a chance to reshuffle the deck here inside the top 5.
Yeah, they do. It's a little bit far back here, I think, if you are Henry Drury, if you are Will Robusto, but we've seen stranger things happen, so let's see what they can do here at this point. Here they run right now. We keep our eye on that battle for P2 between Weisenberg and Workman. I think Wagner is checked out.
He has, and it's now going to be a battle for P2. Weisenberg and Workman know that. I think they'll be upset about this loss of opportunity. They both felt like it was in their grasp. And now that the 5 Copeland car for the 9th time is escaping and heading back to the yard of bricks here, there's still a fight for second tier points. DJ, if that's all they can get, that's what they're going to go for in the final moments.
They're going to fight for every last position that they can. Workman goes off into the outside. He kicks up some grass, and is that going to be the end there of the run for Weston Workman? I think he's given himself big enough of a gap.
And Gresham Wagner, time and time again, he has shown up in this series. He has put on a phenomenal performance at the right place and the right time. He's won 8 races this season, DJ. This would be his 9th as the field works their way through 12 and 13. I still think the top 5 positions could shuffle, but the 5 is coming back.
The 5 coming back to the 4 as he comes out of the final corner. Checkered flag in the air. It's another day. It's another victory for Gresham Wagner, this time at the greatest racetrack in the world.
And between Kohlbecker and Robusto, it was tight, just 0.2 of a second between those two. Then Drury 6th, Aiden Yoder 7th, Rick Segrini 8th. Here's Lano and Keanu Reeves in a last lap battle for position. How about this for 24th spot?
Great line for Keanu there. He's going to keep in it. He's going to absolutely go for it across turn 5, backed out maybe a little bit slightly. He's going to lose about a car length there as they work their way down Holman Way. Let's see if Keanu tries to send a move down to the inside. I think Lano may have this one held as we check out another battle here. This is going to be Jackson Bell and Woodfin, as Bell has been able to get by that number 11 machine. So good recovery here from Jackson Bell.
Oh, big slide for Woodfin in the number 11. That was a big moment. He gathers it up and will make the last few corners. His Continentals must be roasting hot with how much sliding that car's doing.
Yeah, it really doesn't look well. But what I was saying, great recovery here for Jackson Bell. Remember, he had to serve a drive-through penalty, and he'll finish in 19th.
And Cody Jones, and he's got a couple cars ahead of him that are sparring for position. These cars are actually, at least the 41 is a lap down, and the 51 might have just gotten around Cody Jones. But to the checkers here for Axel Cabrera, there's the 41 of Jensen Sofronis in behind, and Cody Jones is going to come on through and pick up his first checkered flag in 23rd, and just behind, Lano and Keanu Reeves finish out their first race in Toyota GR Cup North America.
Lano will come across the line in 24th. Keanu will come across the line in 25th. There we see Gresham Wagner, a well-deserved, well-earned, and very elated number 1 sticking out of that car. It's Gresham Wagner doing what Gresham Wagner does. He just knows how to win.
I've said before that he's clinical in how he approaches this, and he doesn't show a lot of emotion even when he wins. So to see him sticking the hand out the window as he came across the yard of bricks, he knows how special it is to win here. This is just a layup on the rest of the season, the cherry on top, whatever you want to call it. He locked everything up in Barber, and now he can just focus on picking up the last 2 victories potentially of his season. So could he go for 10 tomorrow?
I mean, that would be a pretty high bar to go for, and it would certainly set the mark. And I believe that would be the marker for the all-time win list in GR Cup North America.
You know, and Gresham, you look across all the championships that he's competed in for so long, some other one-make championships, and you have to look at a guy like him, and when you put him up against other drivers in the same equipment, and it doesn't seem to matter what car, he always comes out on top. Let's have a look here at the race results in just a moment, because we saw Gresham Wagner take it to the checkers, but Lucas Weisenberg from pole, just not quite enough, DJ.
Not quite enough. Weston Workman did give him a good run for the money. Great little scrap there with Kolbecker, Robusto, Drury, Yoder, Rick Sacrini, all of them getting involved in that as well. Garcia, Rumberg rounding out your top 10. As we looked out, great result there for Jackson Tovo. Really good run for that young American. Mia Lovell finishing 13th. She will be your Indaba highest finishing female. Good recovery for Jackson Bell as well. Had to serve a drive-through penalty. That'll be 18th for Jackson. Miki Koyama, we talked about a little bit earlier. Looking down through the rest of the field, Keanu Reeves, the last driver on the lead lap. Cody Jones able to finish a couple places ahead, him in 23rd. And there, of course, you see those drivers that got caught up in that opening lap melee coming through turns 13 and 14.
Unfortunately, Jade Avedizi and her day ended early with the black flag. Andrew Gilliland, Devin Anderson, Casey Mashore, Stephen Clemens, Matty Oust, and Alfonso Diaz all involved in that opening collision at turn 14. So unfortunate start to the weekend for them, but their teams will go to work. We'll see how many of those cars can be repaired for tomorrow as Gresham Wagner climbs out, DJ.
Gresham Wagner very excited there. You can see that number 1 in the air. A little bit of an indication to the team. He said many times that this wouldn't be possible without the team around him at Copeland Motorsports. And so he is very clearly going to be happy for all of that. Getting ready to take off that helmet here. Getting a little bit of a photo taken. Helmet comes off, and we go down to our very own Amanda Busick, who's standing by and ready to talk with our winner.
We'll go ahead and get that winner's hat onto Gresham Wagner, as well as the Continental Cuff to signify race 1 win here at IMS at the racing capital of the world. Weston Workman going to come over and congratulate your champion who wrapped it up at the event prior to that, your 9th win on the season, Gresham. And you were rolling around this place on that victory lap with a very dignified number 1 outside of the window. You always thank your team for how they support you. What credit will you give yourself?
A bit more than usual on this one because I had to race Lucas pretty hard there in Weston, so it took a bit more out of me than some of the other wins this year, but at the end of the day, you can't do it without a good car and a good team behind you. So, you know, I've wrapped up the championship at this point, and I just wanted to end the year with some wins and give this team what it deserves because, you know, 9 wins, 10 wins, they deserve them all. So just really happy to come here to Indy to wrap up the year and, you know, try to go into tomorrow with, you know, maybe a sweep of the weekend, but I'm sure they'll give me a run for my money.
I can tell you from us down here on pit lane, eyes were transfixed on monitors to the battle between you and Lucas. You were able to build a little bit of a cushion and gap there at the end. But prior to that, walk us through and how you plotted being able to get back past Lucas and get the win here.
Yeah, I mean, I knew that he was just waiting for his opportunity. You know, we had a bit of a breakaway, so we didn't need to battle too early, but I knew at some point he was going to make his move, and he did with about 10 minutes to go. So I gave it a couple laps to kind of see where I was stronger, where he was stronger, and I mean, to be honest, he was pretty strong in a lot of places. So, you know, I knew when I made my move, it was going to have to be the last one of the race, and you know, I'll give Weston credit when we were side by side there. He gave me a good shove down the back straight to get me in front, and I was a bit lucky that they battled side by side and gave me a gap there because for sure they would have tried to get me back.
DJ Kyle, the champ, doing champ things.
That he is indeed, and great to hear that back and forth there for all of that as they go through everything. We're very, very happy for Gresham. We're very, very happy to see everything that they work through.
Here's a look at race 1 highlights from Toyota GR Cup North America on the opening lap. It was a frantic start, 5 wide into the opening corners here. Gresham Wagner was able to slip by Lucas Weisenberg and make his way through to the race lead. After that, a little bit of hustling between the 99 and the 88. They got side by side a couple of times, pushing and shoving their way into turn 14. There was Aiden Yoder as well. But it was the story of the front three, Wagner and Weisenberg and Workman, the three W's up at the front of the field, doing a great job battling. And there was Rick Segrini, Spike Kolbecker, and Will Robusto DJ that were also battling for position in the top 5.
Yeah, we had absolutely great battles up and down through this field. Cody Jones, as we said earlier, one of the big names that came out in here for Dude Perfect, as well as Keanu Reeves, who got himself into a nice little battle with Ramon Lano. Good to see Keanu get his elbows out, but the real scrap was up at the front of this field between Lucas Weisenberg, Gresham Wagner, Weston Workman. I mean, these three were just going back and forth. And Henry Drury putting on a great show with Will Robusto as well.
Yeah, hanging out the rear tires there in this battle with the 18. Watch it again as he throws it in here. The 46 and the 13 side by side, but this was the battle that took their opportunity to win away. They wanted it too badly, and they didn't work together well enough to have a shot at the number 5.
They did not here as Workman got off into the gravel, but at the end of the day, it was, as it has been so many times this year, Gresham Wagner up at the front of the field. Folks, that's going to wrap it up here from us here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We'll be back tomorrow for more GR Cup action.